Welcome to the Emisarios Unidos de Luz channel. If you enjoy this near-death experience story, consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel. Now let's start with the story. As a teenager, I recklessly abused drugs. It wasn't that I was particularly naughty as a child, but after years of physical abuse at the hands of my strict father, I had become very disillusioned with life. At 14 years of age, feeling that no one, not even my mother, could protect me from my abusive father, I took what little money I could find in my father's wallet and my mother's purse, grabbed some clothes, and left home. The following day, I took a train to Moscow, where I found shelter in abandoned buildings alongside other kids who lived on the streets. I made friends with a few of them, and it was through my association with those kids that I was first introduced to recreational drugs and drug abuse. At the age of 15, neither my life nor anything else mattered to me, and getting high in abandoned buildings with the other kids was how I was first introduced to heroin. Russia, being an Orthodox Christian nation, would frown upon atheists and non-Christians, so you can imagine the scorn we attracted from the local Christians who knew what we were up to. They would call us godless, and quite frankly, they weren't wrong, as our reputation for indifference and the way we threw caution to the wind were the greatest testimony to our lack of faith. When I was 18, after being released from arrest for vagrancy, a few of my friends and I decided to get wasted at one of our regular haunts, an abandoned mill. We started the party by taking hot shots, heroin mixed with other opioids, in potentially lethal doses. In our session of Russian roulette, Anatoly, a guy I had known for 3 years, was the first to fall unconscious. At the time, we thought it strange that he didn't remove the tourniquet before slumping back, but we quickly dismissed the irregularity. When Luka fell unconscious in a manner similar to Anatoly's, we just laughed. When it was my turn, I took the needle as I had done since I was 15 and injected the shot in between my toes. Immediately after injecting the shot, I felt as though something was squeezing the life out of my heart, and I began to gasp for air. "Stop messing around," I heard Yulia saying with a nervous expression on her face before the world went black. Suddenly, I found myself immersed in utter darkness and silence. This is unusual. I don't normally dream when I pass out, I thought. Not knowing what else to do in that dreamlike realm, I decided to move about, but even as I did, I still didn't see or hear anything. What a strange dream this is. "Alexei, you need to wake up," I thought to myself. "You aren't dreaming, Alexei," I heard a voice say. "This is some crazy trip I'm having." Was the needle spiked? I wondered. "You are dead, Alexei," the voice informed. "Rubbish. If I am dead, then who am I talking to?" I asked. "I am Elohim," the voice replied. "Give me a break. So I have to die before you decide to show up?" "Where were you when my dad was beating the snot out of me daily?" I asked the voice defiantly. "I was there with you, taking all of those beatings as well," the voice replied. "Come on. Don't talk rubbish. Stop hiding in the dark and show yourself," I demanded. The dark void was suddenly illuminated as a bright, hazy apparition appeared before me. Although the entity's features were hard to resolve, I was able to discern that it was wearing a robe. "I was wondering when you were going to open your eyes and see me," it said. "See you? What are you talking about?" I asked. "You stayed in the dark," the voice replied. "You said that you were there with me, as my dad, a professed man of God, beat me to a pulp for nearly 10 years, yet you did nothing to stop him." "Why?" I asked angrily. "I lessened the more severe blows that you experienced," the light being replied. "You didn't stop him. Why didn't you stop him?" I asked belligerently. "Because I cannot fully interfere with the physical world," the light being replied. "So, you are an impotent God? One that can't change things with the snap of a finger?" I asked, albeit scornfully. "No, it is a choice that was made long ago. A choice that mandated that I would not fully interfere in the lives of men. I am only permitted to assist you if, of your own volition, you found your way to me and asked for help," the light being replied. "I asked you, I begged you multiple times for help, yet you didn't," I replied obstinately. "Alexei, do you remember the night you ran away?" the light being asked. "Yes, I remember." "Why?" I asked. "Come, I want to show you something," the light being replied. Suddenly, I stood before what I can only describe as a kind of movie projection. In that movie, I saw myself on the night I decided to run away, going into my parents' room and taking money from my father's wallet. What I didn't realize was that my father had been watching me that night, although an enormous weight immobilized him, preventing him from reacting. It was also revealed to me that my mother had more money in her purse than usual that night. I also saw in that movie images of myself sleeping beside the railway track, as I tried to keep hidden from the police who were searching the area the night I ran away. "You see, Alexei, I have always been there with you. I heard your cries for help. I did not abandon you, the light being affirmed. Okay, but in the 4 years I have been living on the streets, I have felt very alone and abandoned. When did you intend on helping me? I asked as I began to weep. I have already told you, Alexei, that I can only help you to the degree to which I am bound. You are here talking to me now only because you and your friends overdosed and are now dead. I cannot stop you from taking your own life by being reckless, and I cannot help you if you will not let me, the light being explained. I just want the pain to stop. I don't want to hurt any longer. What do? I asked. Alexei, it is up to you. You can call it quits now and remain in the hell of your making, or you can choose to return to your life. If you go back, though, your life will be difficult at first, but with work, you will break free and become what you were destined to be, the light being replied. What will happen to me if I go back? I asked. That is mainly up to you. If you continue on your current path, eventually you will end up back here. If, on the other hand, you decide to change your life, you will eventually find peace in your life, the being replied. Why do you have to talk in riddles? Why can't you just be straightforward with your answers? I asked petulantly. Because it isn't something I can give you step-by-step instructions for. Every soul exercises its free will, including yours, the light being replied. Okay, fine. I am ready to wake up now, I said submissively. Take care, my child. I'll see you soon, the light being said in parting. It was then that I opened my eyes to find Yulia hovering over me, as tears ran down her face. I thought you were dead, like Luca and Nat, she said. They're dead, Alexei, they're gone, and I thought you were also dead, she said. No, it was just a dream, they can't be dead, I said, speaking my thoughts aloud. Damn, we have to go right now, I said to Yulia. Yulia and I then fled that place, leaving the dead bodies of our friends behind. As much as I would like to tell you that after witnessing the deaths of my friends, I immediately got clean and straightened my life out, unfortunately, life isn't that simple. Eventually, with Yulia's help, I did get clean. We married and emigrated to the United States, and with the help of some friendly Americans, I was able to get my high school equivalency diploma. I eventually went to college and got a bachelor's degree in computer science. Everyone to whom I have ever told this story has claimed it was a drug-induced dream. As a scientifically minded person, part of me wants to believe it was a dream, however, another part of me believes it was a real experience. I last visited my father some years ago now. Even though I told him I forgave him for what he did, he shrugged it off, acting as though he did me a favor. I returned the money I stole from him and my mum with interest. My mother calls us every now and then to give us an update, however, I tend to cut her off when she brings up the topic of my father, even when she told me he was dying. I guess even with God in your life, there are some wounds that may never heal.